to week 7 of Ball and Chain. We're happy to have you here. Man, it feels good to be back. It feels good to get a win. Cooper, 4-2 now. We were 3-2 last time. We're both 4-2 now.
There you have
That's
it.
big. Cooper, I think there's somebody behind you.
This side. Yes, I am pleased to introduce known female senior analyst for Ball and Chain, Anna Rona, here to pick a little bit of a bone with a certain position in fantasy football. I'm going to leave
Position? You're starting with an entire positional group?
Yes. I want to bring up a qualm I have with kickers at large.
Interesting.
I can't really think of any other positions in football where the name of the position is just what they do. Yeah? A kicker should be kicking. Yeah?
They should. They typically do.
Why is their success rate not 100%? I have no empathy for any kick that misses.
Wow.
Every moment in practice should be dedicated to honing the craft so that, of course, there are inclement circumstances, like
of course,
or your little ball holder guy doesn't do a very good job.
I agree.
That, I guess, would give you 1 to 2% leeway, but in practice, that should go away because you should be practicing to eliminate any percentage of missing because their only job is to kick the field goal or the extra point, if you will. So this is my opinion. Kickers should never miss. It doesn't make sense to me. If a kicker has missed multiple field goals, like in a season,
drop them.
They should be kicked out of the NFL. I understand in college missing sometimes because they're still getting practiced.
They're just kids.
In NFL, this is their job, and they should not miss.
Might we propose a new GFL rule that if your kicker misses a kick, you have to drop them?
Ridiculous proposal.
I gotta
These
say,
are the kinds of outside ideas that we need coming in.
Watching the Jets game Monday night in the Rona household was not an easy one, let me tell you.
Listen, watch back last year. Big ol' headline, Tyler Ass, right on the front of your screen. He absolutely lived up to his name. I was saying it the whole night.
Anna, we greatly appreciate you being here, bringing some fresh perspective to the league. Do you have anything else, any players maybe on your team or across the league at large that you want to speak to and their performance for the season?
Look, Cooper helped me a lot with my draft for my fantasy league. I have a team called Dolphins Never Sleep.
Okay.
I like the Dolphins because they have cute outfits. But, of course, your fantasy team cannot be made of all dolphins, and that's fine. So Cooper helped me with my draft, and he really emphasized that Olave is great. He's a good boy. Olave is a little pussy. No.
He is.
PG-13 show.
We were trash talking Olave the whole pre-draft, and you're feeding her false information?
Yeah. And, I mean, have you seen Tom and Jerry?
I have.
Those guys can take a bonk on the head and they bounce right back up.
You're
Olave
right.
can't, because he's a little baby. He's like a
You're
mouse.
so right. I've had my fair share of concussions, and I'm still getting up every day doing my thing. You do?
All right. Thank you for having me. I'm glad that we've finally spoken about what needed to be touched on in this podcast.
Man, what an exciting guest appearance. Oh my goodness.
Incredible.
Absolutely.
I'm a little biased, but certainly a topic of conversation that people need to be discussing.
Absolutely. How about something that everybody's already discussing, and that's the Tuesday morning paper on the from the GFL.
My goodness.
People are yammering on and on about it. People are saying maybe one of our best. Some other people are saying one of our worst. So, Cooper, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, Brian, I'm going to start with a little bit broader of an article that I saw in the paper this morning. Unfortunate to announce, Bear Bryant debunked.
Bear Bryant debunked.
Bear Bryant debunked.
Bear Bryant debunked. Okay. What was Bear Bryant debunked of?
You know Bear Bryant, 6-time Natty winner, 24-season bowl game streak, legendary coach from Alabama, Paul William Bear Bryant.
I do.
Coined the famous term, offense sells ticket, but defense wins championships.
Absolutely.
I've said it myself as a Michigan fan. Sometimes that's what you got to lean on. That being said, 3 out of the top 6 defense special teams that were rostered in Week 6 in the GFL led their teams to losses. We had LeBron's third leg with 11 points, lost to the Toe Suckers.
Yeah.
Marv had the Packers with 9 points, lost to who gives a shit. And the Browns on Shaheed, you know well about this one, narrowly lost on Monday night. 8 points from the Browns defense. None of those were enough. In fact, I want to say 2 of the top scoring defenses across the league weren't even rostered last week.
Is that so? My goodness.
I believe so.
Luckily, man, there must have been some pretty good defenses because I think mine got me about high teens.
The Lions got 19. Bucks, I want to say, were second with 14.
Damn! I think it might have been something like that. Who knows? And most importantly, who cares? Because we're going to my headline. Cooper, are you a fan of Selena Gomez?
I dabble.
All right, well then you might know this song. The headline is "I Needed to Lose You to Love Me."
Great
Hit
song.
I need to lose you to love me. Maybe you've already seen it coming. A love story that has ended time and time again. In Gabe We Trust drops. Gabe Davis drops him, breaks up with him, and guess what? They both go on to have
20 bomb.
Gabe drops a 20 bomb, his best score by far, and Logan drops his second best score this year at 132.
Incredible.
I needed to lose you to love me. Said them both. They're both thriving apart from each other. God, Gabe had 2 tutters just to show Logan, this is what you're missing. I don't need you. I don't need you.
Where was that energy? Where was that effort when he was in the relationship? It's easy to stick up and make it happen after the fact.
I know. This is what Gabe does. Going back to the first year, this is what he
He's
does.
a cruel mistress.
Oh, but you can't quit him. He's still at the top of the waiver wires. I'm thinking of picking him up.
Oh, please, no.
We're thinking of picking him up. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna
I'm
gonna keep going with the song references here. Not to be confused with the headline from a few weeks ago.
You're lying.
If you want to be my lover, you have got to Gibbs. You got to Gibbs this time.
Oh, you got a Gibbs?
JD's team got the dub over Marvin the Finns, 134 to 103. A game that I believe we both predicted.
We did.
Finally,
Holy
JD's
fuck.
able. Finally.
Appreciate it, JD. We've been picking you since week 2 of last year. Thanks,
That
buddy.
being said, Bri, Gibbs was his lowest scoring player, not including defense kicker, but outside of that, Gibbs was his lowest scoring player. David Montgomery is a little hungry hippo with the touchdowns over there in Detroit.
He is gobbling up 6 points a game. At the very least, he's had a touchdown or 2 in every game. It's this guy's an animal. He runs angry.
One anecdote I want to share as I was putting this together, doing some research. That manager, JD, has had some very interesting trends. Over the last 4 games, he's scored 108, 135, 107, 134. So very much up and down. If the trend continues, the Toe Suckers are in for an easy matchup this week at 106 for who gives a shit.
It could be sneaky. He could come out there and bite you. But that goes right into my next headline. Cooper, sorry, hang on a second. Really? Oh, no. You're kidding me.
Is this real?
Cooper, I just got a fraud alert from my bank. A fraud alert. Because guess what? We got some frauds in the GFL. Guess what? You want to know who I'm coming after? I'm coming after the Goobers first. The Goobers, the 6-0 team. Points against, 586, not even 600. We've played 6 games. Averaging less than 100 every time. He got a win against you, put up 102. Well, I should talk about your score in that game. You put up 54. His wins are against 54, 83, 84.
Yeah.
In all of those games, except for the last one that I said. So two of those games, he scored below league average. Those should be losses. He should be 4-2. At the very least, he's had no mean games. No mean games at all. Listen, he's been putting up points. He's got the 4th amount of points for. You got to give him that. But I did save the best for last. There are 2 frauds in this league. There are 2.
Uh-oh.
And the other one is you. It is
You're wrong.
It is
You're
you.
wrong.
The least amount of
Incorrect.
points against week after week. You've got the 8th in points for. You're 4-2. Your wins have come against. Your opponent scored 77, 100, 97, and 89. You should be 2-4. 2 of those you scored beneath.
Absolutely not.
2 of those you scored beneath league average. You should be 2-4.
Brian,
And you're
the
4-2. You have been skating by without Cooper Kupp or Tyreek in the roster. Mike Evans gave
and
you
you're going to call my team a fraud when they're 4-2 without Cup and Tyreek?
I am.
That is a testament to the depth, to the adaptability of this squad.
Adaptability? Absolutely not. Phooey adaptability. No more fraud alert.
Brian, my final headline, hot button topic.
It is.
Chef no-shows for New York dinner party. James Cook ruled out on Monday night against the Jets.
Yeah.
Kyle couldn't have picked anyone up because our commissioner refuses to change a rule that doesn't make a lot of sense for last-minute injuries. We're not going to get into that right now. Aaron Rodgers kept you on your toes at the end of the first half with his best 2011 Hail Mary impression. Not enough for Kyle to get it done, falling 7 points short to Brian football team, despite a 36-point performance from Chris Godwin.
Ridiculous performance from Chris Godwin. That guy always eats on the Saints. I was in a Chicago bar with the manager of the Goobers, sitting pretty. When I look up and I see Aaron Rodgers cock back, he's doing his best Anthony Richardson impression, throwing the ball down the field. And Lazard the defense just says, sure, you can have that one. He just takes it.
Take it.
I'm shitting my pants the whole game. I want one easy Monday night game. I know that I won, but I can't keep doing this. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me.
Brian, I feel like you've already segued us a bit with some just baseless claims. But it's week 7 in the GFL. We are far enough along to give some rankings. Talk about who are contenders, who's just hoping to make the playoffs, and everything beneath that. So let's say we start at the bottom and move up, or vice versa.
I think we start at the bottom and move up. Hang on a minute.
Ready.
Cooper, our technology department has whipped up something crazy right here. If I've forgotten a team, we'll figure it out in a little bit. We're going to start at the bottom because that's what we do. We like to start at the bottom and go back up. Let's just get it out of the way. Why don't we? Let's get it out of the way. Philly Willies they are our bottom feeders. They are absolute bottom feeders.
Least in points for by about 45 points.
He, like I said a few episodes ago, absentee manager. He's checked out.
Sean's not going to save him either.
I think it's Seth. Seth Quizman?
Is it Seth?
Quizmon?
Quizmon?
We'll see. Just absentee manager. We'll see.
We're going to get him on the show next week.
Maybe. That could be nice. And then, let's just do it right here. God, he's been absolutely boned by injuries. And then he traded away Derrick Henry. Travis Etienne sucks. It's not looking good for Jimmy at the moment.
No, it does not.
He said he trained for the marathon today. Guess
Brian,
what?
if I can just jump in with a note about
I'm foreshadowing my next move. Go ahead. What's your note?
Won't You Be My Neighbors is currently 5th in points for, but averaging 93 over the last 3 weeks. Not to mention, Jimmy has really shown how much of a masochist he is with just voluntarily deciding to do all the league punishments. I think he might be tanking on purpose to run a marathon.
He absolutely could be. I do love Gerbil Jimmy. That's nice. You did see Colin, the Ford man's going in not great. His wide receivers are not. You cannot make the playoffs with those wide receivers. He's starting Cortland Sutton a few weeks in a row now. It doesn't look pretty. Next up, he's the only team in not great. Next up, I had to.
No. Wrong. Hold on. No. Move Marv down.
Move
Marv down to getting by.
I didn't want to put him here. I wanted to put him in a bottom feeder. Listen, he's making waiver wire moves, kind of. Have you seen his team? He's actually got a halfway decent team. He's got JT just sitting on the IR, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Marv, Deontay's nice. He has a serviceable team. He's got some bangers.
If you say so.
He's got some people I'm afraid to play. He's got to go in mid. And I think the thing that's holding him back is the manager. The manager's holding him back. Next up, we've got Shahid Murray going in there. This guy's been putting up points. Sort of secretly, he's been putting up points. I think he's got a really quality team there. He's flying under the radar. He did say it a few weeks ago. And then I'm sticking by my word.
Hey, you got to give me a chance to speak with some of these comments you're making.
Please do it.
Please. I agree. I have Marv in the not great, the getting by tier. Shahid, where you have him at the mid. Fun fact about Shahid Mareed's team, yet to play a home game. They have played 6 away games straight.
What a stat. That is why everybody tunes into Ball and Chain for stats like that. That's hilarious. Also, do you want to spoil your list?
I'm going along with you. Tell me this was a misclick for the Goobers at mid.
Not a misclick. Not a misclick in the slightest. The Goobers are going in mid. I'm sticking by my word. The Goobers team doesn't scare me. I'm sorry. CeeDee's the wide receiver. He's not even in the top 10 for the wide receivers. He doesn't have that value. Nico's on the IR. The guy's been getting absolutely lucky. He should be 3-3 is where he should be. And then it would make sense to put him in mid. I'm not afraid of this guy too.
Okay, carry on.
Going up here is a manager that, God, we could be overrating him again. We love him on Ball and Chain. Hang on a minute. Get him out of contender. We could be overrating him on Ball and Chain.
You got him in playoff caliber?
I do. I really do. I do. I think he's got a solid squad. His running backs are fantastic. His wide receivers are plenty serviceable. Like, you can get by on his wide receivers. Hang on, let me pull up his team here so I can give it
a good-looking squad.
Yeah, listen,
it looks good on paper.
Looks great on paper.
He hasn't been able to connect the dots. Tank, I don't know why Tank's sitting on the bench with Nico out. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
Tank is currently in. He's got to make a decision between Jahmyr Gibbs and Tank Dell, which is interesting. Garrett Wilson takes a hit, and then Jaden Reed is streaky, but playoff caliber. I think he's got it. Next up, God, I hate to do it. I really hate to do it. I hate to do it. I called you a fraud. I know you're a fraud, but you're a playoff caliber team. You absolutely are.
Thank you.
You've been thrusted into a position through no fault of your own, where you are all of a sudden a playoff caliber manager because you got Cup coming back. You got Cup. That's going to be so huge for you to get Cup coming back. Tyreek's going to boom again. Jaden Daniels is nice, I guess.
Amari, the Bills trade coming out of nowhere yesterday for $816,000.
You've been very fortunate. That's extremely huge to get Amari there. Again, your playoff caliber. And then we are going to put a sneaky team that I am very high on. We're putting Skol in there. Skol! We are putting Skol in there. He just got Derek back. Puka's... Wait, that's the wrong team. He's got A.J. Brown. Travis Kelce's going to boom. He traded for Derek. You know what? Something about Skol? That is an active manager. Does not come from a football background. He has made the most moves out of anybody in the league. The most moves out of anybody. Be that what it may, it will show up positively on the coaching metric. Tune in. It's coming up here. We're going up to the contenders, and you can see them all right here, so I'm going to put them all in here.
Excuse me?
You can put them all in here. We're going to go left to right.
What kind of sandbagging before the matchup of the week, the Bathtub Bowl, is this?
What are you talking about? These are the contenders here. This is the only way you can cut it. I don't know if anybody has taken a look at Caden's team recently. It's good. It's very good. He's got a very good team. He's got the Bake Show and Joe Burrow, James Conner, Kyron Williams, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, who you're high on. He's got Puka on the IR. Puka's going to be in his flex when he comes back. Njoku just had Amari Cooper shipped out of town. He'll be good. Yeah, he looks scary. Out of respect, I'd put LeBron's third leg in there. And then I gotta be there. I have to be there. I gotta be
It
there.
hurts me to say. I don't know.
I gotta be there.
Well, you saw what it shouldn't look like there from my co-host on the other side of the screen.
Not true.
I'm going to start off very similar. In the start training, in this case D tier, we're going to put Jimmy of Would You Be My Neighbors and the Silly Willies.
Yep, I think
no other way to cut it.
Yep.
It just makes sense. Getting by Marv and the Finns.
I can't.
They're sitting at 2 and 4, as is half the league.
Can't argue
Fun
that.
fact, I'm full of him today, apparently. He's the only team with a losing record that has more points for than points against.
Really? Interesting.
By
you think
about-
he's been lucky?
By about 5 points. He's got 648 for and 643 against.
Sheesh. Okay.
Also have Florida Man in the getting by tier. He is a low-scoring team with a weak defense. He is 11th in points for, one of the highest in points against.
Yep.
You know, A-Chan's gonna bounce back. We'll see it happen. He's scrappy. He's got some promising rookies with Ladd and Brian Thomas Jr.
Yep.
A team that has yet to make the playoffs. He's gonna have to turn the season around pretty quickly here if he wants to change that trend here in season 3 of the GFL, rather.
He almost had a crazy comeback last year. Let's see if he can do it again.
Got to start a little sooner.
You do.
Moving up into the middle of the pack, I've got JD and Who Gives a Ship. Again, roster looks good on paper. He's got some strong assets, weapons across the team.
Of
It
course.
just hasn't come together yet. I have a feeling it's going to bite me in the ass and he's going to beat me this week, but hey, I'll be the first to congratulate him.
All right.
Secondly, in the mid-tier, I've got Shaheed Mareed.
Oh, interesting.
Especially after the news today of both Olave and Shaheed being out. I'm not sure who's going to play wide receiver on that team this week.
Yeah.
Mike Williams?
You can't play Mike. You cannot play Mike. Keep Mike out.
Brian, I'm gonna spoil the fun here. I have the remaining 6 teams all in hopeful for playoff caliber. Because nobody has yet differentiated themselves, separated themselves from the league enough to earn that contender spot in my book. I'm not quite as down on the Goobers as you are, but they could very easily be 4 and 2. They've got, they're not the team they look on paper at 6-0.
They're not. Wow. Leaving the contender tier, even LeBron's third leg falling in here. Wow. I mean, I
LeBron's
guess
third leg is a volatile team. He went from 172 in week 5 to 89 points in week 6.
he did.
CMC's got to come back if he wants to make a deep playoff run like he has in the past couple of years. And Jordan Mason has an AC joint sprain that's leaving him questionable right now. So I have some concerns about that team.
As do I. Wow. That's juicy.
There you have it. Well, Brian, we alluded to it already, but our matchup of the week, it's obvious. It's none other than the Bathtub Bowl. Whose
Huge.
bathtub? Who's to say?
Who's to
But
say?
we've got the Brian football team against Kyron's back pains.
Yep.
Caden averaging 126 over the last 3 weeks. Brian, you averaging 143 over the last 3 weeks. Current projections, I want to say, are 128 to 127. This is going to be high-flying, high-octane football from the crew. I'm excited for it.
No, this is a huge matchup, especially in a week where we got some buys going around. We got some questionable players. We are meeting at full force, minus DeAndre Swift. Just full force and Puka Nacua. It's going to be an absolute mashup here. Projected nearly the same. I'm nervous. Frankly, I'm nervous.
Yeah. I mean, Kyron, the namesake, is coming off a bye and facing the 26th ranked run defense in Vegas.
Oh.
Drake London has quietly made himself the wide receiver 5 on the season so far.
Yeah.
And Scary Terry and JD have the chemistry you want to see out of a veteran receiver like that. To your credit, Saquon revenge game against the Giants is something
Yeah.
I am excited, so excited to see. Zay Flowers is finding his stride, and of course Jamar Chase with his game breaker badge abilities.
He does.
It's crazy. Where I think the difference here is Kyron's back pains has a clear identity. It's in the name itself. I don't get the sense the Bryan football team is confident in the players on the field. You have seven of your players between your starters and your bench players listed as likely to trade right now. Tell me what that does to the morale in the locker room.
It keeps them active, and if you go look on Logan's, if you go look on Jimmy's team,
fear mongering.
Fear mongering is the tactic. If you go look on Jimmy's team, Stefan is still likely to trade. For me, he knows it from here. You gotta keep everybody on their toes. I'm not even gonna do any analysis here. We all know this is gonna be an absolute Big Ten. This is gonna be a Pac-12 game. This is gonna be USC versus Oregon. It's gonna be USC versus Oregon. The game comes down to the flexes, and
that's exactly the note I have. Take it away.
I think it's going to come down to Brandon Ayuk versus Wan'Dale Robinson, the matchup we all need to see. We clowned on Caden for the Wan'Dale pick. Wan'Dale's been great for him. Wan'Dale has been great for him. Ayuk has not been great at all. He's been great for 1 week, and I didn't even need him. I had 170. That's what it comes down to. The other guys will play. Those are the X factors.
Would you be willing to put a all or nothing? The only thing that matters in your and Caden's matchup is Ayuk versus Wan'Dale.
That decides the entire matchup.
It won't get approved by our strict commissioner, but for the sake of conversation.
For the sake of conversation, yes, absolutely, that is the matchup.
Wow.
He doesn't have he's got Jordan Addison in there right now. I'm talking right to you, Caden. Play Wan'Dale. I want to see him. I'm not ducking Wan'Dale at all. I need to see him.
Neighbors may be healthy again. That certainly hurts Wan'Dale's stock, but you got to ride with the guys. You got to dance with the one that brought you, you know?
And he brought him. He brought him. Since week 1, he had him.
Wow.
Since week 2, yeah. Yeah,
well,
give me a score. Who's winning?
I think for the sake of their season alone, as well as the confidence in the players, like I mentioned, Caden needs a big one here to separate himself from the pack. Half the league is sitting at 2 and 4. Caden's at 3 and 3. He can't afford, with his points for, to drop into that scrum with everyone else. I think he gets the dub, 142 to 137.
Yeah, this is going to be a heartbreaker for somebody. This is going to be an absolute heartbreaker. And it's going to be for him because I'm coming out on top 157 to 148. It's going to be a huge matchup.
I'm excited to see.
Huge matchup. God, the bonus segment. I forgot about the bonus segment.
Oh, I didn't.